What's up guys, I'm Dave Klein. In order to better understand the world of Dark Souls 2 and Drangleic, I thought it would be a good idea to talk about Drangleic's surrounding lands. In this part, I'll be focusing on Forossa, Volgen, Jugo, and Lanafir. So, with that, let's go ahead and begin. Forossa was an eastern warring state known for its ferocious and bloodthirsty warriors, until it fell to war. The Lion Knights of the land worshipped the war god Faram and wore heavy armor. They were feared for their nimble two-handed swordplay, but their legacy was cut short with the fall of Forossa. And while most warriors fought two-handed, the mighty Vengarl of Forossa dual-wielded blades. He was known as a raging, deadly warrior, and even the Lion Knights kept him at an arm's length. It seemed several warriors preferred to fight without a shield in the land, for their other great warrior was shieldless Lothian. No warrior matched the ferocity of unbeatable Lothian, but he abruptly retired from the battlefield and was never heard from again. Some say he grew tired of the frailty of human foes, and set off to slay the legendary dragon. His weapon is also known as the Dragon Slayer's Crescent Axe, indicating this legend.
I was born in Forossa, a land in the distant east. When I was born, we were already mired in prolonged conflict with our neighbours. Eventually, our kingdom fell, and our people scattered. I've been a sellsword ever since. All I ever knew was war, and I can imagine no other way to live. What a fool I was.
After the fall of Forossa, its citizens were left landless and entirely to their own devices. Many were reduced to thievery, while Forossan knights scattered to other lands as sellswords. The former citizens of Forossa became bandits on the outskirts of the land. Of those who became sellswords, I believe it's very possible they sold their services to the land of Volgen. Volgen is a great western city filled with merchants and brimming with greedy upperclassmen seeking power.
It's a lively place, vibrant with trade. Very competitive, of course. And you have to grease the wheels to get anywhere.
Of those merchants, Fiorenza was the best known, as he was the only truly moneyed merchant in Volgen. Fiorenza used his riches to buy up trinkets of luxury and rare collectibles, but was ruined after years of excessive debauchery. He used his wealth to recreate the Avalon, after reading of it in a book. He spent his life searching for the engraved gauntlets, yet it seems fate beat him to the punch.
Ooh, that'll leave a nice scar.
Molin, the merchant in Majula, was not quite so lucky as Fiorenza, and moved to Drangleic in order to seek his fortune. He tells us,
a group calling themselves the Blue Sentinels have gained much power in Volgen. You can't even run a shop without their blessing. They claim to be working for the greater good, but it's absolute hogwash.
It's not clear if this is the actual Blue Sentinels, or perhaps some clerics taking advantage of their name and reputation, as the clerics of the great city of Volgen are perennially entrenched in scandalous power struggles, but among them remain a few strong-willed upstanding noblemen. The slippery laddersmith Gilligan also hails from Volgen.
Now, don't go near that scum near the pit. The scoundrel's name is Gilligan, and he's infamous in our hometown. Yes, everyone's heard of him, as he always manages to stir up trouble.
Shush, you idiot. Stay quiet. I'm on the run. Don't give me away. I can lend you a ladder. But, how much can you offer me? Why, yep, I'm trying to help you, you know. Have you no gratitude? Downright rude, really.
Gilligan can certainly be helpful at times, but he's a real conniver when it comes to money. There are even people out for his life. And you can bet he brought it on himself.
I want you to kill a merchant named Gilligan. A greedy, foul man. He won't be missed, I assure you.
And the more confident Molin becomes, the more cocky and extortionist his prices.
Sorry, have we met? Oh, sorry. It's just I've been awfully busy lately.
Yet there are few who seem to retain their honor.
I was born in a land to the west, Volgen, famous for its merchants. There were great, bustling cities. But for me, they were suffocating. And so I set out, in search of stones in faraway lands.
Both stone trader Cloanne and her father, blacksmith Lenegrast, also come from the land of Volgen, and seem much more honorable than the others. In a place like Volgen, ripe with the ultra-wealthy, the corrupt, and constant power struggles, it's no wonder the Falconers became commonplace. Domestic Volgen soldiers are infamously timid, so it is no wonder that this fierce band of mercenary falconers was hired to compensate. In practice, they serve as bodyguards for the affluent elite, and they serve well, such that nobody dares scrutinize their backgrounds likely being warriors from the fallen land of Forossa, and possibly some from Mirrah. Deep in the sweltering deserts lies the distant eastern land of Jugo, a land filled with corrosive ants, sorceresses, and the homeland to Benhart. In Jugo, giant anthills created by the corrosive ants line the horizon of the desert land. Corrosive urns come from this desert land, and it would seem most corrosive materials come from these ants. An interesting tidbit about Benhart is, his armor set wasn't from Jugo, but apparently Benhart found this while wandering land to land, but its origins are unknown. His armor depicts the sigil of a stag, which we also find on Crichton of Mirrah's armor. Crichton's armor tells us its design resembles that of the Knight Order of the eastern land of Mirrah, but with some odd differences that catch the eye. It's possible the stag is one of these differences. Or perhaps, in his travels, Benhart at one point ended up in Mirrah and picked up his armor set while there. After all, Mirrah was known for Gesteel, an infamously strong alloy King Vendrick sought after for Drangleic. Jugo was founded by Orus, who wore a legendary set of armor that's said to be composed of a mysterious substance that cannot be seen by cowards. Roy the Explorer, in his travels, picked up this armor set and likely visited Jugo during his time. We also know the desert sorceresses who fill the earthen peak were from this land, and their enchanting looks were used to catch people off guard. Oddly, even those who are perceptive enough to realize the ploy fall prey to their seductions with alarming regularity. As would I. Lanafir is a land farthest to the south and follows a strict edict of isolationism. The rare visitor from Lanafir is always a little odd. This description from the traveling merchant set describes for us why we find hardly anything from the land of Lanafir. Yet, there are a few exceptions. Magarold, a treasure-hunting NPC who eventually lets players join the Dragon Covenant, hails from Lanafir, as indicated by his wearing the traveling merchant set and his random assortment of goods. This is also where Goff's Hawkring eventually ended up, as the nomadic bowman Durgo, who hailed from Lanafir, utilized this ring. Durgo was an expert bowman, and his brother-in-law defended their homeland from aggressors. In spite of Lanafir's policy of isolationism, Durgo was well known even beyond its domain. Alright guys, that wraps up this part of my Dark Souls 2 location guide. In my previous part, I focused on Mirrah, Lindelt, and Melfia, so if you missed that, make sure to check it out. And let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. The Lion Knights of the land worshipped the war god Faram and wore heavy armor. They were feared for their nimble two-handed wordplay. Haha, that would be awesome.